Hi, I'm going to show you how to use the new built-in rubric tool on the European Schoolnet Academy platform. Until now, we provided you with a template Word document to review the work of your peers. But from now on the course platform, you will evaluate your peers' work inside the peer-to-peer activity that is on the course. Let's start from the beginning. You have submitted your learning scenario. After your submission, you waited and then went back to the UN Academy site, and on the course, you found 3 other assignments that your peers have submitted. In the second step of your peer-to-peer activity, the browser will now show you this rubric, which you can use for your review. We recommend that you start drafting your learning scenario, already keeping in mind that you will be evaluated using these criteria. If you take a closer look, you will also see that the categories of this rubric respond to the sections in the learning scenario template. Before moving on, I'll do a recap. What is a rubric? It is a form of evaluation used in place of numerical grading. It is designed in a way that the person being reviewed will have an idea about the areas they have to improve, but also about the areas they excelled. Therefore, the answer choices here do not correspond to grades. Rubrics emphasize strengths and help identify areas that need improvement. Now let's take a look at how we can use this rubric. Go through each of the categories and identify to what extent the work that you are reviewing masters the particular aspects. Every choice in the rubric corresponds to a different level of mastery. If you want to choose an item, you just click at the radio button. It's just like in a multiple choice quiz. For example, let's assume you are reviewing a learning scenario or a lesson plan created by one of your course peers and it does not mention any methods for assessment. Then you can mark the first cell here. The learning scenario does not include evaluation. At the bottom there's a comment section where I can leave all my comments about these specific sections. So for instance here I can write the learning scenario does not include any evaluation. Please try to add a comment here about each item. That will be useful for your colleague. Make sure that you include fair, encouraging and helpful feedback that allows the author to improve their design. In your feedback, you can address questions like, why did you choose that level? What areas would you identify as strengths? What areas you feel could be improved? What would you like to know more about? In case you would like to use this rubric with your students, all you need to do is copy these items and adapt them to your particular lesson, assess what skills and areas are important for the particular task, and share the guidelines with them. You can use rubrics to assess your students, or you can help them learn self-assessment by teaching them how to use this method to assess their own work. It is advised to present evaluation criteria prior to assignments for most modern European curricula. Let's observe the categories one by one. Aim of the lesson and integration into the curriculum. The aim of the scenario should be described briefly, in a few sentences. A lesson should have only 1 or 2 well-defined aims, not more. It should also describe when and how this lesson will be integrated in the curriculum. Therefore, I could write something in the lines of focus on 1 or more 2 aims. The second one is the subject, topic, and trends. Here, check in the work of your colleague whether the subject, topic, and trends were defined and fill it out accordingly. Do you think the scenario includes all relevant educational trends? If not, suggest some more to the author. Teaching materials should include all the extra tools necessary for the lesson. It could either have online or offline materials or both. Online materials are websites, online games, or applications. A teaching material can also be offline, such as glue, paper, and scissors. The category for the learning scenario and activities should be where the majority of the lesson was described. In the section then, every activity should be detailed and time and procedure should be allocated for all of them. I can then also use the comments section to ask for clarifications. In the section for 21st century skills, it is necessary to explain how the lesson will correspond to these skills. Again, if you need to remember what these 21st century skills are, you can check out the link that is provided in the learning scenario template that we provided to you in the first step of this activity. Then comes assessment and feedback. The lesson plan should describe the assessment method. For example, students can write a project report to be assessed by you. If this is the case in the learning scenario, then you can choose the right choice accordingly. Finally, in the general category, you have a chance to evaluate whether the learning scenario included all necessary steps and is ready to be implemented. Thanks for listening. I hope this clarifies the new rubric tool and it will guide you through your assessment of your peers' work.